Hey everybody, it's Mr. Fitz here, and I am going to show you how to dry out your flute and clean the inside of it. Basically what the idea is, mainly you're removing the moisture that builds up inside of your flute, and that helps it to last longer and stay cleaner. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is this flute cleaning rod that you should have in your case. Sometimes they're made out of plastic. They basically look like a giant sized needle with an eye right here on one side, and then just a very, not a sharp end on this side because we don't want to get poked, right? Now what you do is you need a piece of cloth. Thin material works best, okay? So like old t-shirts are perfect, and roughly the size of a piece of paper, maybe a little bit smaller. This one here is actually a cleaning cloth for a trombone, but it's a little bit bigger than I would like. So I would say 8 by 8 is a good size of having a square. So I would say maybe this little extra part here we won't need. But in any case, I'll show you how this works. You take the cleaning rod and you put the corner of the cloth through the little eye of the thing on it, like an eye of a needle, and you just kind of pull it through a little bit. So you got to pull it through like this, just a little, okay? Now, once that's through the needle, through the eye rather, not that it's a needle, but once it's through, then what you do is you hold the cloth. Let me see if I can grab the edge of it. And then you're going to spin it around to kind of make a little thing to dry out the inside of your flute. Now, we don't want it to be all built up and like this, because then it won't fit through and it might get jammed. But what you do is you sort of pull it downward and just basically wrap it around the cleaning rod. Now, you don't have to make it long enough to go through the whole flute, because here's what you do. You take your flute, which I have here, and you're going to take off the foot first, right? And basically you go into it and you just dry it out. You push it through both sides like that. And that dries the moisture out of it, okay? You don't have to go all the way through. And then you set that in the case. Then you take the mouthpiece part, or the head joint. This one's a little tight. Okay, and then what you do is you go in just until you hear it tap inside the mouthpiece on the, there's a thing in there inside, you can hear it tapping. It was pushing mine out. My flute needs to go to the flute hospital. So you just kind of go in up until that, until it taps. And then that dries that out, and that's all done. So you set that aside. Now this next part's pretty important. With the body of your flute, you only want to go in halfway on each side. You don't want to go in through the whole thing. Hey, Mason. So you go in part way. Oops, it undid itself. Let me reconnect this. Mason, you can come on in and get your trumpet ready. All right, and then you're going to go in one side, and then the other side. Just go about halfway in. I'm having a little trouble with this cloth because it's a little bit thicker than I would like. All right, and that's how you do it. Then you do it. You're all done drying out your flute. Say hi to Mason. Mason, you want to say hello?
Hello.
All right, so there you go, flute players.